time.
All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, all right, everyone. We are finally having the meeting that we've been trying to have all year. It is the last meeting for the 16-17 school year, Dr. Brown.
That's it.
And we're meeting kind of on the morning after, it feels like. It's pretty much wrapped up the year, but we do have some business to take care of. Yeah. And we'll be taking care of more business next week when we have our reorganization meeting. And we'll verify that date in a bit. But we kind of keep meeting, Dr. Brown, whether school's in session or not. So we'll so public comments, anyone? No one has signed up. So we're going to keep moving. I just see staff here. They're always more than happy to have folks chime in with any parting comments, but Bob's busy on his phone, so we won't do that.
I'm just wishing Amanda a happy wedding right now.
Oh, good.
Hopefully, no, I'm not.
Tell her we're here for a health insurance call.
If she is stopping whatever she's doing to take a text from you, there's going to be problems down the road.
We have exec team
Can this marriage survive?
scattered about it. We certainly hope so. So let's, well, any board responses, board wish to mention anything before we move on? There's a few graduations last week, etc. Moira, you spoke, thank you. Yes, you did, I appreciate that. I was out of town.
Told our graduates that they should consider coming to work here. Was my main message.
Great message. You did mention it 20 years though.
Well, yeah.
No.
No, that's only for one of them to take over for the superintendent. But they probably have to, work up to that.
There's a few items and work to do before they get to that point. So anyone else? We'll keep moving. Yes, we're going to go on to the consent agenda.
I'm going to move the appointment of a clerk pro tem.
Second?
Take by Moira.
Marta is clerk pro tem for tonight.
All in favor? That is vote worthy. That is everyone. And thank you, Marta, for sitting in.
And then I'll move a change to the agenda to put in a supplemental personnel report dated today.
Second.
Right. Thank you, Pat. I missed the modifications to the agenda somewhere. It doesn't say it anywhere.
And it's under C2. That's okay.
Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Oh, there it is. Thank you. All right. So, Brad, we're good on the modifications?
Yeah, personnel report.
All right, and nothing else?
Nope.
All right. Without objection. And now, are we on to consent?
I'll move the consent as presented.
Second.
Second by Pat. Any questions, comments?
Yeah, I'm hoping that we'll go through and speak to a couple of these. I know that there was discussed in finance and facilities. My apologies, we can get a quick summary for public consumption would be great.
Are there particular ones you wanted?
Yeah, the first one, how about we talk about the Alex Haley pool?
Lease on that, something that's been hanging incomplete, I believe, in the whole decade I've been on the board. Hopefully reaching some conclusion soon. Although I don't know, does Common Council have to act on it?
My understanding is the Common Council is acting on it this week as well. Okay. It's passed through their first round, their equivalent facilities committee, passed with flying colors, and they're happy to get it resolved as well.
And for those who aren't on facilities, one of the things they came to us about was the wading pool and expanding that. And we were fine with that. We didn't have any objection to them doing that. So we expect to see that moving forward at their schedule, not our schedule. We're passing on any approvals, size, shape, depth, so forth. We've just said wading pool. We're not asking for them to bring it back in any way.
So before we move on, to help us, other folks who may, or for other folks, is it, we own the block, as hopefully folks know, but we've been in a long-term lease with the city over the Alex Haley Pool. Sometime with a little bit of controversy, hopefully this time not without controversy, so we're moving forward. Thank you, I appreciate it.
You'll see some food service items in here. There's both their financial report. It looks like they're gonna break even again this year, or actually a modest amount of money left at the end of the year, but it's unbelievable.
Amazing, I know.
Their ability to do that. We were complimentary of Denise and her staff at the meeting. They do a great job. There, you'll also see a increase of a nickel on the meals for next year, and an increase of a dime on milk. That's up from 65 to 75. You'll see that on there.
We did, are you done with food service?
No food service.
Right, just to follow up, we did ask Denise about the summer school food program. Really gave an outstanding quick synopsis and summary of the 18 different locations and.
Where we deliver meals or have open meal programs, a combination of those.
Press releases have gone out, and
It's
on the website.
south side and north side are where the open programs are, I believe.
Well,
I got that right?
there's a variety of them.
Yeah, and then there are meal programs delivered, I mean, we deliver meals out to the Groton Library.
Right, from Enfield to Groton and
Yeah.
points in between.
Exactly.
And program starting, well, June 20.
Oh, it started today, I think, or yesterday, yeah, started yesterday.
Right.
So anyone 18 or under can eat for free. There's no
Breakfast and lunch.
breakfast and lunch.
And it ends August 31st at some of those locations.
Right.
So all summer long.
All
And
summer.
Lady, please.
I just want to note that Denise and her crew are doing that in addition to the 3 summer programs that she is
Right.
providing breakfast and lunch for. So I just, I
Yeah.
want to add to the kudos to her because she's doing that seamlessly for us. And we're in multiple buildings as well. So-
Right, right.
She does a great job, and her crew does a great job.
Right, it's, we have done this for a while, but I'm not sure that I was aware we did 18 different locations now. So it's really, I just want to make sure that that was noted, and it has been on the website and press releases that's gone out, so we appreciate that.
Yep.
So go ahead, Brett. Other items.
Let's see, we've got summer work.
Oh, sorry, urban renewal contract?
Oh, urban renewal, that's a renewal of a contract with them for a program that's at BJM, and it pays for a portion of an FTE.
Gotcha.
We're agreeing to participate, I don't believe.
Oh, so this is out of the community block grant? They're
So
gonna
the
give us
community
the
block
play for
grant,
FTE.
we're agreeing to participate in. We share a position, I believe, with them, and that's authorizing us to do that, to share that position. New bank account, just brought on by our change in the health piece. Of course, in 10 days, you'll get to renew that account, since we re-up all the bank accounts.
That's right, I forgot
at the
about that.
organization meeting.
We need it now.
Fund balance, we're authorizing fund balance up to maximum numbers into either the capital reserve. As you'll recall, we created new capital reserve with the voters in May. This authorizes transfer into that, and it also authorizes transfer into the ERS reserve. We can have a reserve for employee retirement. The legislation on having it for teachers retirement, I don't believe that passed.
No.
That did not pass, so we'll keep putting our money in the ERS.
Yep.
Not sure
I mean, the
why.
problem with that is you're limited in a withdrawal to whatever the maximum ERS is for that year. You can't take out more. So it ties our hands a little bit. Construction contracts for the summer work, they came in under budget. The work at Caroline and at Lehman, I think we had budgeted just over 600 for those, 605 or something like that, and we're at 519, so that was good. Those came in.
It's a lot of paving.
A lot of paving. Well, I don't know
And
if
some
you've been-
doors.
I mean, you've been up at LICS, that bus
Plus the
parking needs some
Absolutely.
work.
Oh, yeah.
And then the west lot at Caroline is, all Alexander says, they do call it Sladeville Springs.
That's funny.
It is a little wet underneath there, and that west side, for whatever reason, is
That's good.
deteriorated quite a bit. Oh, no, it's, yeah, small cars are being lost.
Yep, that's good. Thank
Usual
you.
personnel reports.
No, those, that was
Yep.
just the finance.
Great.
Yeah, that's, thank you.
No problem.
Thanks, Brad. Any other questions? Moved, seconded, I believe.
Yep.
Correct. So all in favor? That is not everyone. And those, so that's, we'll do it again.
Okay.
Got abstaining. Yep, yes.
So,
Okay.
Pat, Sean, Rob, Moira, Nicole, Brad are in favor. Those against, those abstaining would be Chris, and Ann is not with us tonight.
And Eldred is out of the room.
Well, there you go, Eldred is out of the room, thank you. Trying to keep track of the heads. So, it does pass.
It's a moving target tonight.
Thanks, Martin. So, it is important to get the votes down. So, Dr. Brown.
Thank you for the opportunity. Just one item I wish to share with folks, information about an upcoming Engage, Educate, Empower Everyone conference that will be held here, hosted here, July 17 and 18. It's a regional experience for folks. We have folks coming from around the region, around the state, in addition to our internal folk and community members are signing up as well. So this is an invitation to you, and you'll see what's being planned for those 2 days. Most of the workshops are being led by our educators who are going to be speaking, and we have these 2 experts who were the keynote speakers and facilitators of the event in Syracuse last summer that many of our staff members went to. So they're going to be here on site, and we're excited about this opportunity. In questions, thoughts on that, but that's my only item for you.
Sorry, Dr. Brown was distracted.
Yeah.
Like you're one of the speakers. I was mesmerized there. So we've. No, that's
The
right.
timing was good.
I think it was the shine up the forehead.
Yeah, no, really. That's,
I thought that was one of my better picks.
but no, it's good. It's but we have heard about this before, and we look forward. It's going to be an outstanding program. Lydia, yes, we've heard from Lydia
Oh, yeah,
about
we
this.
have a lot of our folks working there.
Outstanding, and a lot of homegrown talent, I think, Dr. Brown.
Yes.
So is that it, Dr. Brown?
Yes, thank you. Tonight.
Okay, we're moving right along.
Sure, sweet.
And Eldred has returned. We're just going to go down quickly down through our last committee report outs to the public and the board. We'll just go down the list. We'll do audit, but Sean was not at audit, so Brad, why don't you just do a quick update on audit?
Sure.
I was there, but I don't really remember what we talked about, so the usual stuff, Brad, I think. Right?
Yeah, well, as usual, we had to move into a bigger room because we had so many people.
I was like, is that what I missed in my recovery?
We've never had any.
Yeah, I didn't think that's not my memory.
Yeah, the fire marshal was called because we had, they had to count.
Is coke available, hopefully?
Yeah, exactly. So we reviewed the quarterly report from Nora, the internal auditor. Good strides by all of our staff on complying there across the year or so. The list
The report
very
is
short.
much
very short, very
Yeah.
short now. Minor issues there. We reviewed the upcoming audit by our outside auditors. They'll be coming in early August. As we do annually, we hear from them on what their area of focus. Can be special education this year. And because that's a primary federal program, I believe that has to be a focus once every third year anyway. So it'll be special ed this year. We also then spoke about, as you know, we have yet another audit. We contract with Questar 3 2004, where they do an audit of a particular area of interest to us, something that we want to have examined, and we're going to be looking at cash management and athletics and such this coming year, trying to determine what the best practices are and where we might make improvements there. So that'll be well into the fall, I think, before they get here for that one. But the meeting was primarily setting up the different audits.
And we are hopeful that this will be a year without the state comptroller auditing the district. It would be the first time in several that they
Yeah, we've been very popular.
they find us very interesting, and but we've typically gotten.
Well, I think we all got in our email the state audit on transportation and IT.
Right.
On that, although the final report on transportation removed a number of items from it. If you
Right.
saw the draft report, it spoke to not getting aid on.
62 buses, whatever it was.
That was
Yeah.
on there. We actually get aid.
I wondered about that.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
so I
not,
don't know what they missed or how they missed it, but anyway, that was removed.
Not our first rodeo. We bought in buses
Yeah, bought buses a long
before,
time.
right? So, and we've gotten aid before, and I think it was just a matter of
And there,
timing
as you know,
of paperwork. and
IT
things like
issues are growing for everybody, and the school district's no different. Security and other issues like that having to do with IT are no different for us than they are for anyone else. I mean, we've got things stored on particular servers, we've got things in the cloud. We've got the same security issues as everyone else. I won't say that the state had a lot of great recommendations for it, but they did point out a few vulnerabilities that are not in the public report because they're vulnerabilities. And our IT folks are taking a look at those to see.
Zach and his team are running down any and all recommendations.
To
And
make sure we're doing everything we can.
And the comptroller assures us that they're not out to get anyone. I mean, it's really it's a way for the comptroller's office to provide advice and guidance on how we should can enhance our systems. But they do like to see how we do things fairly often.
Yeah, I'm not sure why we're so popular, but I guess we're the largest or one of the largest districts in this region for the comptroller's office out of Dayton.
Right, and they've been frankly fairly rather complimentary in the past.
Right.
I don't believe we'll see them again this year.
No.
We've got to know the company.
And I don't think there was
auditors.
anything in the IT report
No.
that it wouldn't be in almost everybody's report. I mean, we're all trying to keep up.
They cut and paste.
Yeah.
I mean, we're trying to keep up, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what everybody's trying to do?
Exactly.
We're trying to keep up with the hackers and the others who are trying to find backdoors to information and so forth.
Yeah, one of the recommendations was around updating one's browser or software that was native to the Chromebooks. And they admitted in the meeting that it's impossible to do that at scale.
And keep up.
Yeah, and they had no recommendation for how you would do it, but they recommend that you do it.
Yeah,
So,
helpful.
Thanks, Brad.
Yep.
Okay.
You weren't
curriculum.
first. You weren't first.
I wasn't first this time. Actually, Jennifer gave me a heads up that I didn't have to be first this time. So our last curriculum meeting, which was June 6th, was once again a joint meeting with policy because we have these groups of policies that have implications for curriculum. So we've been very slowly working our way through these. We find that sometimes we'll look at something and think, oh, this should be relatively easy, and then we get into it and it's not so easy. And then also some policies have cropped up because they have some deadlines. So the whole process of working on this group of policies that connect to curriculum has been slow, but we'll keep at it. We did do a policy, and we had, our last meeting, we had it for the first reading, grouping for instruction in elementary schools, which is tangentially related to curriculum. And we've got it on tonight, but that's the only one we have managed to get ready to actually put into practice. But we'll keep at it, and it's fascinating.
Thanks, Mark. Finance and facilities, I guess we're back to Brad.
Sure, which I do actually chair as opposed to audit, I should be clear. I do not chair both finance and facilities and audit, as is best practice. There are 3 citizens who are not on the Board of Education, who are on the audit committee, and one of them is chair. Happens to be Jay True, a former board member, but there are 3 citizens on the audit committee who are not members of this board, and I want to be clear, I'm not.
And we appreciate their service.
Exactly, very much. All 3 participate.
Multiple years.
Actively.
Yeah.
Finance and facilities, well, budgets discussions are underway already, of course, as we lay out our schedule for the next year to look at all the different areas and their impact on budget as we go forward. So we'll be laying out our usual calendar to look at all the different areas of the schools over the course of the year for budget purposes. We also had discussions on various facilities items having to do with the summer's work. We discussed the contract at LACS and at Caroline. I saw the crane arrived at the field at Moresco Stadium today. Folks will see that. Be removing the old lights, putting up new lights. So we'll have LED stadium lights. The light won't drift as far as it does.
Are you serious?
And you don't have the light pollution from the stadium.
Oh man, those lights shine right into my bedroom window.
Yes, sir.
I'm one of those folks. That just changed my world, bro.
I would be hopeful that won't be the case.
All right.
We've been waiting for this.
Yeah, I remember. I forgot that. Right. Yeah.
And I mean, these clearly save a lot of energy, but also the light pollution, they just don't have the same drift of the light. They're actually able to keep it on the field. So, and we've been assured those will be ready in time for fall sports. That's what they say. That's the last item from the energy performance contract. I think at this point they're checking things off and wrapping that up. So we should have a final report on that by the end of the summer.
Thanks, Brad. And the one question that we have going forward is whether we need to, at some point, split finance facilities again. Are we going to do that this year? We don't have to decide that now.
Well, I think we'll talk about it at the reorg. I mean, if we're thinking it's time to start looking again at a larger project, be it energy related, be it classroom related, having to do with technologies, sciences, and some things like that. If we're ready to start having that discussion, I'd recommend that it be 2 committees.
Meetings.
We're already meeting for well over 2 hours.
Yeah, 2-hour meetings are tough for any period of time.
We're already
They're
meeting
running
for
about
2
3.
hours.
Yeah.
So I would recommend, if we're gonna start down that path, which I think we are, I mean, believe it or not, the last bond was 2007.
No, 10 years
Finished
ago.
when?
Well, I know,
But yeah.
but we're a decade in at this point. And there are some needs out there, and then there are some desires to make some changes in some of the classroom spaces to meet current needs.
And hopefully future.
In the future, well, as we respond to what we need to do to assure success for our graduates and what kind of training they're getting, we need to be looking at that. So if we're going to do that, I think you need to split them out for the foreseeable future.
But we'll decide.
We'll decide.
Just put that out there. And HR, Chris.
HR, last meeting we wrapped up our tenure reviews, and we moved briefly into contract negotiations. So we started conversation about that, and that will be carried over into next semester.
Thanks, Chris. We appreciate the tenure reviews. I mean, that's been I think really a sea change and a game changer for the board, for HR, so that's, I certainly try to make those whenever I can. I kind of missed the last one, but certainly
That was a riveting meeting.
for a lot of board members, that's a good one to slide into if possible, but again, our meetings do get stacked. But, so legislative advocacy, which I was probably saying. Ann is out and about.
Ann is out, I sent you all an email, said 3 cheers to Ann.
Yeah.
The legislature did pass the change in the law to provide for an exclusion for BOCE's capital from the tax cap. We now wait to see whether the governor will autograph it or not, but that was a successful piece. We heard that TRS reserve was not successful. A number of other items that are still pending in committees at the legislature. They may get dealt with. I know they're talking about an emergency session tomorrow or the next day. Whether anything will happen on any education issues or not, I would not predict.
Right.
The one that impacted us most immediately and directly is now in the governor's hands. We'll see what happens. On the federal side, there's still a lot of wait and see. I mean, the proposals are not good. Do a Medicaid reimbursement to schools. I'm not sure why that makes sense to just exclude Medicaid payments to schools, but that's the proposal that's out there. Block granting, IDEA, and some other things. Who knows whether that'll come to pass, and if it does, what it'll mean to us is very hard to predict what's going on. So I would tell you the federal issues are muddled at best.
Sorry. Thanks, Brad. Policy.
We heard Moira talk about some of our joint meetings that we've been having. There's not much to add other than one policy. Well, one, welcome to the process, Moira. Now, giving a taste of why we find it so riveting. But we did have a quick conversation about a meal charge procedure. We were trying to meet a USDA deadline of July 1st, hopefully we'll be a day or two off of that, or maybe a little bit longer. But the one question that came up that I felt would be interesting for folks to hear, doesn't mean that we'll explore it any further, but there is a I was asking the question I had heard a long time ago, that it actually costs more money to check and verify whether or not people receive free or reduced lunch if we just provide a free or reduced lunch for the entire school population. And there are opportunities to actually become schools where we just provide the entire school with a free meal. And so we are going to explore what that would look like. And it may actually, at the end of, honestly, again, save us money. There's a possibility where or be cost neutral, or maybe $5,000–6,000 more. So it'd be interesting for $5,000 more to be able to fully feed 3 schools would be an interesting idea. I'm sure there's some other things we hadn't considered about what does that mean. I'm sure there's other things that go along with that. But that was an interesting conversation to engage in, and what we'll be exploring a little bit more at our next policy meeting.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it. Appreciate the work of policy as always, and all the work by board members on all the various committees that we will reconstitute in a week or so.
That's true.
School district business.
This item was in the consent agenda.
It was already approved.
Right.
Yeah,
So
that's why I was.
do we have to do anything to it?
Yeah. Any reason why it was there again?
No.
I suspect there was question as to whether
Consent
we
or
wanted to
non-consent.
have it in the consent or have it separately.
We can just keep voting on it over and over.
No, that's okay. Once is enough.
All right. So I appreciate that. I was wondering why that was there. A pretty simple item. New York State School Boards, New York State School Boards Association Annual Convention authorization. Apparently, quite a few folks are either interested or going to go to the convention this year.
Who was our delegate last year?
Voting delegate, I was.
All right, then I'd move Ann Breiklin as our voting delegate this year. since she's chair of the advocacy.
And she's not here.
And she's not here, so she can't say no.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a fine,
That's the way to do it.
yeah, for-
And,
They did not, I mean, one of the issues last year was, that was debated, was about whether they could continue business even when a quorum was no longer present because so many people had left.
I mean, when it's a 4-hour meeting, people actually
Right,
fade
and it's
away.
the last day of
The
the
last day.
conference on Saturday. And so a very simple suggestion was made, is don't have the voting meeting the last day. They didn't take that suggestion, but still
Shocked by the common
on
sense.
Saturday, yes.
No, right. I fully support Ann being the person. I think every board member should get a chance to play that role. It's an amazing learning experience, and if you want to talk about sort of the nuance of school board politics, the annual voting meeting is, the things that you are voting on are amazing.
Yeah.
Like, someone wrote that, right? But I think we should take that in mind of a great rotation would be
And
helpful.
I think that's why I
Yep.
don't think Ann's ever done it.
That's right. No, absolutely. I
It's
think
good to
that's-
have
I think
her
I
this
completely
year.
agree.
No, she was the alternate last year.
Yeah,
and,
great.
Oh, good.
But I found it much more interesting than I expected it to be.
So-
also.
Have you ever served in this?
Well, I don't know.
Now, you've gone a number of years.
It's on, yeah.
But have you been the voting delegate? Stand there sit there with a paddle and hold it up and vote?
Even if I was supposed to, I might have been asleep.
Then I'm gonna also suggest that Elder be
The alternate?
Alternate.
All right.
voting delegate.
Yeah, excellent, excellent. Dr. Brown, I do recall when it was just like you and me went to this thing, now everybody's going. Is there a reason everybody's going
It was
to
in Buffalo then, Lake
It was in
Placid, and New York
Buffalo.
City on nice.
Yeah, yeah. Lake Placid this year, I
I
believe?
hear some guy by the name of Brown's gonna be speaking.
Yeah.
Oh, is that?
Thursday at 2:15.
Thursday at
It's
2:15.
the rumor I heard.
That's the room right
Okay.
there. So we'd love to have.
Do you get like a little room, or, it's always a question of little room, big room?
I
that kind
think we
of
have a big one this
thing?
time.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, so
It's
apparently-
on board and superintendent relations,
Oh.
Oh,
ironically, so I'm hoping.
interesting that they had, anyway, I
Oh,
will.
that's why.
What t-shirt are we gonna wear in protest? Everybody gets up in unison.
Oh, boy.
All right, Pat, you're gonna say.
No, I
Sorry, Pat, go
just
ahead.
wanted to mention that I had told Jennifer that I could not commit to those dates at this point, and it was unlikely that I would be able to go, but I'm guessing she finds it easier to plan for everybody and then
Yeah.
pull us
I
out
think that's why she's got everybody down.
rather than try to put
You
people
need
in.
authorization, so why don't you just vote
Yeah.
now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Right.
I may,
Yep.
that,
Well, I think that's
nothing
true
should be
for
read
everyone.
into that, except I still have a day job.
Yep. No, we're on the same boat. We're
Yeah, I
voting
think
for
that's
everyone.
true for everyone, Pat,
Yeah.
just to prove that any one of
Okay.
us can go, but,
Okay,
Policy says we need board approval.
we wrote that policy.
yes, so we're just following it.
See what you have wrought.
Can't get out of anything.
So we've talked about it, I don't know that there was a,
I move the NISBA convention authorization with Ann Reichling being the voting delegate, Eldred Harris being the alternate voting delegates, and all the board members listed being approved to attend.
Second,
second by Pat. And got that, Marta? You good? Very good. And without any more sidebars, all in favor? And that's everyone, and Chris did not abstain, so we appreciate that.
I move policy 4410, grouping for instruction in elementary schools, for a second reading and adoption this evening.
second,
Second by Pat.
It's a short policy. We had a conversation about it last meeting as well, to give our admin team a little bit of direction as we go into summer classroom grouping. And the big conversation we had, remember, was talking about whether or not the idea of a balance or just paying attention to the idea of social, physical, ethnic, gender, and academic diversity.
This is a local policy, not required, but we do a lot of things that other people do not require us.
Absolutely. And we have a lot of classroom placements taking place probably right about now.
No material changes, we're all set? Good?
I have one question. I think you guys answered this before, but I'm just asking again for public consumption. The bullet point says consideration of the number of types of special needs in a given grade level. That doesn't necessarily mean either concentration or dissemination, right? It could be either one, depending on what the teacher thinks is most appropriate.
Or the skills of that particular teacher or the supports that we able to provide, right? But yeah, absolutely. The idea was not to go in, not to prescribe one or the other, but to let the professionals have the authority
The
to make it.
appropriate teaching assistant, the appropriate aide.
Supports, right,
Right.
okay.
And then balancing, maybe balance is the problematic word, but considering that along with the other considerations. So it's a complicated,
The Rubik's Cube
yeah,
of
yeah,
children.
exactly.
Gordian knot. Anything else? Moved, seconded, all in favor? That's everyone? So any other business?
Fun meeting.
The upcoming dates of importance, obviously there is one, and that is the reorg meeting, and just again to verify when that is for the good of the group. It is
Thursday, 9 o'clock.
Thursday, 9 p.m. in this room.
9 a.m.
9 a.m.
Yeah.
Thursday,
Thursday,
July 6th.
Thursday, July 6th,
9 p.m.
9 a.m. Oh, there it is.
Yep.
It's all right. I probably should bring my glasses.
I was going to tell you that. We'll talk later.
There it is. It's in bold.
Right.
So that is the only one. Anything else for the good of the group? Anybody last words of encouragement as we head to the 4th of July?
Stay safe, everyone.
Yeah.
Go Yankees.
There it is.
Thank you, Dr. Brown, for another outstanding school year. And thank you all for all your work and all your attention and all your, everything that you all do.
All right.
We are done. Thank you.